back again with the SLP-300 Betamax industrial video cassette player from 1978. As mentioned from the previous video, this is a Beta 1 only machine. And in the beginning, many industrial betas used the Beta 1 speed. And as I mentioned, despite what you may hear, the facts are there's no difference in picture quality between Beta 1 and Beta 2. And I finally got my very first tape in Beta 1. YouTuber JK of JK Productions sent me this tape that is highly relevant to our interests. So not only is it my first recorded regular Beta 1 tape, it's also relevant because of this. This is a 1984 training video. February 84. So a lot of the footage on that tape is from 83. But what I really loved also was the box that came with many Easter eggs in it. He also has a Chrysler LeBaron in 1984 2.2 turbo. Showing the Garrett Research turbocharger. The digital dash. And it's upside down. He has both Lincoln and the LeBaron. When he had his videos up, I really enjoyed watching him. Especially, I believe it's the one he took it out at the middle at nighttime when it was 20 degrees and he dropped the top of the convertible, but it was also the sound of the turbocharger whirring. My next one is going to have a 2.2 turbo regardless. In fact, I wish mine currently did. It's a long story, but I love mine regardless. 2.5 is the same engine. And I also really love the little TV with the Chrysler and Beta logo and the little background we just saw. Oh yeah, that was so cool. And appropriate playing this on period TV. This TV would have been 4 years old already by the time that tape was made, 3.5. So anyways, we're going to try out this machine playing its very first Beta 1 tape. Now, I did test this right beforehand. I have to start the tape slightly advanced because it must be damaged at the beginning. And it clogged the heads on this and a couple other machines. Not clogged bad. It was after playing a few seconds, it unclogged itself. You can hear it wrinkled. It was wrinkled at the beginning. So we're starting it kind of like right where as the video begins. So what I'll do, we're going to hit play.
Drivability can be defined as the satisfactory performance of an engine under all conditions. Warm and cold starts, acceleration, cruising, and idling. In the interest of maintaining good drivability, Chrysler has accelerated its move to electronic fuel injection in 1984. Individual drivability test procedure books are available for the single-point EFI and multi-point turbo EFI 2.2-liter engines. The EFI drivability books have been expanded to cover more
categories. So yeah,
although the books
picture quality is the same as Beta 2. And I do notice the better linear audio because we're running at twice the speed of Beta 2, which is Beta, 4 centimeters per second. And the tracking has a wide range before it messes up. Like, I could crank it all the way to here before it messes up. But that's it. The rest of the range is perfect. I just put it there because that seems to be like the middle. So yeah, it runs at 4 centimeters per second. Beta 2 is 2 centimeters per second. Beta 3 is 1.33 centimeters per second.
Does the problem occur with the engine cold or warm?
But since this is being the first beta 1 tape I've played in this machine, it works absolutely perfectly. All original belts and tires. I just had to clean them a little bit. And being that it was stored in a protective case, it's pristine. And being that this machine, the head width is optimized for beta 1, that's the still frame on it. That's the only special effect this machine can do. This was 1 or 2 years before beta scan even came out.
Try cranking the starter.
So tape counter is counting.
Don't overlook
I just had that set so when I rewind it, it stops right before the beginning.
Remember that the battery must be fully charged for all tests.
The Daytona.
If equipped with the original equipment Mopar battery,
yeah, mine is a 2.5 liter base engine, same throttle body fuel injection.
Power loss or power limited lamp lighting whenever the engine is running.
But it has the balance shafts and it is a smooth engine for a 4-cylinder. Very smooth, like one of the smoothest I've tried. And it's a long stroke. It's a very undersquare engine. It has a lot of low-end torque, max torque at 2800 RPM. 2.2 turbo here. The first one is, I want to say 142, 143 horsepower. That was the mechanical wastegate. But back in the 80s, those were big numbers. When a V8 could only get 120, 130 horsepower at the time. Maybe 140. 2.2 turbo is really where it starts cooking. 175 horsepower and 210 pound-feet of torque. And that same engine became the Turbo 3, 224 horsepower. It's like one of the best 4-cylinders made. But also what this shows you is how advanced the computer in this was at the time. It has a lot of built-in diagnostic functions that make you can check the fuel injectors are working or other sensors. I mean, that engine has a knock sensor too, and many engines didn't have that.
The drivability test procedure books have detailed lists of items to check.
Parameters it goes through for being it's simple. But here's the thing:
visual checks,
despite those engines being computerized, it still works to this day. Original computer, logic, and power modules.
For example,
and the car has no electrolytics in them. And that car is 36 years old this year. All original parts.
But is not making contact.
Now today you can't even buy a new car unless it's a Toyota where it constantly has electrical problems or other things.
Check for loose or
Chrysler has not been the same since the mid-90s. After Iacocca left, it's management that did it. Management ruined them. Daimler-Benz didn't help matters. They ruined them completely. Fiat, I had a Dodge Dart at one point. I thought maybe it was going to turn around. No, that thing had so many things. I traded in just in time. I broke even. Now I got a Tacoma at 85,000 miles. Has been completely reliable. With no issues. I'm still on the original battery. The truck's 7 years old.
Automatic shutdown relay and map sensor.
And
Some of these
it's
are
worth
hard to see.
$10,000 more than what I
So
paid
remove
for
the
it
glove box assembly to inspect the ASD
in this day and age.
relay
And as for my New Yorker, I've had zero problems. The
Make
only things I
sure
had to
the
work on
map
were
sensor
age-related
hose is
stuff.
not pinched shut, especially where it goes through
But
the
in the
dash
last,
panel grommet.
how long has it been now? 13
Because
years of
any
ownership.
vacuum
It's
leak
been
can
extremely
upset map
reliable.
sensor accuracy. Also check vacuum-operated heater and AC control.
The engine that's a piece of crap is the Mitsubishi's. That was a mistake. The 2.6 and the 3.0, piles of crap. But that's okay. The 2.5 replaced that 2.6, and the 3.3 and 3.8 replaced the 3.0 from Mitsubishi, and those were very, very good engines. And then derived from that's a 3.5.
In the no start section,
but after that, you know, the 2.7 was a pile of crap. That was a poor design. You see, it's like everything after Iacocca left went downhill.
In this case,
The
simple secondary ignition test for spark can
LH bodies were great. The cab forward design was industry leading.
No spark B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Not only will you waste time, but the test results will also be meaningless. Occasionally, you'll see reminders to tell you that the ignition switch must be on, or a certain
It's hard to
wire
record
disconnected, and
TVs
so on.
with this. I mean, you get this
Otherwise,
bar in the
reconnect
image,
all wires and hoses and turn off the ignition between
or it looks
tests,
like there's excessive
but not
noise when
between
there's not, because
steps
it's
within
overpowering the
test.
camera.
The bulk of the tests involve
Now that was
jumping
what I
between
really
2 or
wanted.
more
A
terminals
Dodge
to
600
check for
sedan
voltage or
like my
continuity.
grandfather's had.
The procedure
Better learn to
gives the
talk.
locations
My grandfather
of the
had
connectors, wire color coding, and in some
Night
cases,
Watch blue,
specific
dark blue
cavity
interior.
numbers.
That's why I got my New Yorker that way.
Usually, you can't find the specified
I had no
wire
choice. It
cavity
wasn't
by
my grandfather
counting
did this.
from
My
one side.
parents did. They sold it.
So, look
Some
carefully
guy, and
at
they
the
drove it to like
illustration in the
300,000 miles.
drivability
But
book.
they'd say it was extremely
Always
reliable.
probe logic module
Never had an
connectors
issue with
from the
it.
wire
We sold it
side,
with like 80
not
some
the
thousand
terminal
on it.
side.
But that car was supposed to be for me when I was 16, damn it. And I would still have it.
Will damage them.
I mean, once I got a job and got money saved up, I would have kept that car and bought another car or truck.
You'll need long test leads
that
to
point.
reach. About 10 feet.
I mean, the Super Ks
Be extra
and E-bodies
careful
were
to
rust-proofed
avoid grounding,
from the factory.
shorting, or energizing
As long as you get it
logic
rust-proofed
module
before you buy it,
terminals.
that like
Logic module
asphalt stuff,
damage and
you won't have any
additional fault
problems
codes
with
will occur.
moisture or anything underneath.
Use the wiring diagram at the back of the
My New Yorker
drivability
was never
test
garaged
procedure
until
book
I
to
got it.
trace
It has no
circuits.
rust on it anywhere.
And remember, never check
And it's up
voltage
here in the
unless
north.
specifically instructed to do so. You'll be wasting valuable time. When you are instructed to hook up the Chrysler Diagnostic readout box as part of a diagnostic
Yeah,
procedure,
his car was a
digital
2.2 regular
display by
fuel injected.
turning the ignition on and
It had a
off,
distinct sound when you
on
turn
and
the
off
key.
again, and
It would go
back on
ding, click.
within 5 seconds.
It was audible
And
enough,
write
and it
down
sounded really
all
cool.
fault codes.
I also wish I had the
Often, the
Nipodenzo starter
diagnostic
instead of the
procedure
Bosch gear
instructs you to
reduction.
shut off
There's
the
like wah,
ignition
wah, 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 when he
and
starts it in
disconnect
here.
and reconnect the battery quick disconnect. This is to clear the logic module's memory. By the way, this operation will generate a fault code number 12, battery circuit interrupted,
Yep.
which you can disregard. Other times,
You
you'll
know,
be
that's the other
instructed to
thing.
start the
I still
engine.
have the original battery. Oh, there it is, the Nipodenzo. Wah,
Turn
wah, wah.
on a specific
And my
electrical
vent push
switch.
pull. I want that back so bad.
Then turn off the ignition
And that instrument
initiate
cluster there. I
another
love the
fault
digital,
code
but I want
display.
this one really bad too.
This forces the logic
it's just
module
memories.
to search for intermittent problems. If the fault code no longer exists, you should recheck for loose or corroded electrical connections. In some instances, such as a no
What
start,
was I gonna say
the
though?
drivability test procedure books instruct you to perform an actuator test. The September '83 Master Tech session demonstrated the actuator test on single-point EFI systems. But because you can't see fuel flow from the injectors on multi-point EFI systems, the procedure is different. As with single-point EFI, disconnect the coil high-tension lead from the distributor and place it no more than 1/4 inch from a good ground.
Yeah, what's
With
this?
the ignition already cycled to initiate a display, press the actuator test button. Watch for 3 sparks from the coil lead to ground. And listen for 2 movements of the AIS motor on the throttle body. Next, install a jumper wire
See, that
between pin
computer
number 2
did all
and
that
number
right there
3
for
of the
diagnosing
gray
everything.
distributor sync connector. And press the ATM button again. If the
Oh, I was going to
injector
say, the
drawers
battery
are
in the New
switching
Yorker,
properly, you'll
I
hear
got
a
December
click from one pair of
2009,
injectors when the connector is jumped,
and
another click
it still
from the
works
other
just
pair of
fine.
injectors
But I'm
when
going
the
to
wire is
change it soon
removed.
because I have a feeling
Don't worry
when
if
it
you
dies,
see
it's just
code
going to flat out
42.
quit
It means
when I'm
that
out
the
with it.
ASD relay was temporarily bypassed when the ATM button was depressed. The readout box is capable of performing other diagnostic tests, including a distributor reference pickup test, switch test, O2 system test, and detonation sensor test. See this month's reference book for details. During this training session, you have learned how to use the EFI and Turbo EFI drivability test procedure books, how to verify drivability complaints, make a visual inspection of system wires and hoses, and how to perform some key diagnostic procedures. Let's take a positive approach to diagnosing EFI drivability problems. By using proper diagnostic procedures, you'll see that there is no mystery in finding the problems.
Same one Frank Sinatra used to own right there. It was a gift from Lee Iacocca, and it was in the movie Cannonball Run 2.
Money in the bank, I tell you, $1 million. Oh, $1 million a piece. That's right. Where they learn to drive like that?
Forget it.
Early 80s computer-generated graphics.
I've talked to you about several important things in the past.
So, yeah, there's a good sample of this video. Now, stay tuned. The next video I upload will be the full-length version of this. I'm going to use this exact VCP to capture it. I'm going to put it on YouTube. But in the meantime, let's stop. Yep, stop right where I started it, right before that part at the beginning. And there you go. Yeah, I had to use a BNC to RCA and a 1/8 inch to RCA adapters on this. I have it running through my little setup here, which runs it to the 1980 series, which I'm also doing a 10-year update on. Still works beautifully 10 years later. And I've had this since 2007. And one more sneak preview of things to come. I'm finally diving into some high-end betas. Some of the best betas made between 85 and 86. This is the SLHF-750, the only VCR of any make or format to be linear skate loading. It's like having a front loader and a top loader at the same time. So, gimmicky, yes, but they paired it to a high-end machine. And on top of that, I got it paired to the editor. And on top of that, thank you, Matt Patteray, I have the remote. It's a beautiful thing. So, expect to see that coming soon. This doesn't record beta 1, but it does beta 1S. 5.7 megahertz bandwidth. And this is before SVHS or extended definition beta even existed. We'll get into that in the next video. So in this case here, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, JK. And you know, it's much appreciated. And stay tuned for the direct capture. Thanks for watching.